Hey everybody, welcome back to the LoFi podcast. I'm your host Frank, and you're listening to the best podcast on the internet because it's got Caleb.
Hey!
Yeah, Caleb. How you feeling, man? Refreshed after the new year, of course?
I am feeling the same because of COVID.
Yeah.
But feeling good still. Feeling good.
Cool.
Today is inauguration day, so, it feels like new beginnings all around.
Yeah. Did you get to watch that?
I did watch it. It's
Cool.
weird.
Yeah,
I feel like such an adult, like turning on the news, like just watching it for like an hour or two, just like everyone's watching it. Definitely, it's just weird, but it was cool.
That's good, man. That's good. I got to see the replay of that. I was busy at the time, but it just gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling. Like, you know what, man? Maybe 21's not going to be so bad.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Yeah. But what else has been going on in your world, man? It's been a while since we last recorded, dude.
I know. Well, I mean, we stopped recording the holiday season, and
Yes,
the holiday season was busy as per usual. Even during COVID, it was busy doing just stuff. I made food a lot of times, so
yes.
watching stuff, cooking stuff.
That's dude. Speaking of, okay, well, we'll probably get to that and what we've been watching, but especially because of cooking, I checked out Chef, which I had never seen, and that literally.
You've never seen it?
No, I never saw it.
Okay.
So that's had me really, really excited about I don't know, just checking out just different. Like adding different recipes to the stuff I've been making lately.
Yeah.
I wasn't really much of a burger guy, but I started doing a lot more burgers and different types of like sandwiches and stuff lately. So, I've been trying to expand on the usual, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 entrees I normally make.
Yeah. Same.
So, it's the holidays, so you got to be cooking a lot, right?
Yeah, and even like at the end of that movie during the credits when he's making the grilled cheese, you're like, dude, that just looks like the best grilled cheese ever. Like,
yes, it looks so good. It's all like melty and stuff. I was like,
yeah,
he probably just used like whatever ingredients, but it looks like the best grilled cheese ever.
yeah. And that Asian guy he's with, he's a real chef. Yes. I don't know if you knew. Yeah, and they have that show on Netflix.
That's what I've been watching while I cook sometimes.
Oh, you watch that show? Yes, dude.
Yeah, I've been watching it, dude. Yeah, it's really good, man. I like it.
Yeah, I enjoy that show too. It's really good.
It's super informative too, because it shows like he's there with literally like Robert Downey Jr., the Russo brothers, and Kevin Feige, and they're just there telling stories and stuff. And Tom Holland's there. I was like, dude, like this is awesome. This is amazing.
Yeah, and it seemed like it's such a chill environment because it's like, with interviews, I feel like celebrities have to put on a face, Yeah. But when it's like just them each other, it always feels like they're the most like relaxed, most chill.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
like that's what it felt like.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been doing a lot of cooking for sure, man. Holidays definitely gonna have you doing that.
yeah, definitely.
But it's inauguration day, Caleb. But is that one of our best headlines for the week? Headlines. What you got for us, Caleb? I got a couple of news stories I could add. Little bit.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, you go ahead and start. I mean, we got some extra footage for. We're very behind on headlines, so it's where we start, right? I know most recently we had a little extra footage. Well, not really, but stuff of HBO Max. You know how they got like a lot of people got in trouble, or they got in trouble because the director's was like, well, we didn't sign up for all our movies to go straight to HBO Max.
Oh, true that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they released a trailer of Mortal Kombat and King Kong, not a trailer, but like a TV spot, and it's basically images you already saw. But they're still like, yeah, we're still doing it. We're still releasing these movies straight to HBO Max. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited. King Kong, that's a big one. King Kong versus Godzilla moved up to March, the last week of March. So,
I heard they even moved it up like earlier, right, than it was supposed to. Like it was
Yeah, because
supposed
this
to
was
premiere
kind
later.
of like April something, and they moved it up to March. So,
Yeah.
are you excited for it, or
I'm
did you
excited
care
for
for
it,
any
man.
of the Godzillas, King Kongs? Did you see
Dude,
any of them?
I grew up on Godzilla, bro. Like my parents got me. I think probably like 80-90% of all the Godzilla VHS tapes that were coming out back in
Oh,
the day.
nice.
So the Godzilla versus King Kong was one of my favorites. I know I had the one with Mothra and Mecha Godzilla and was it the Hydra or what's the three-headed one? I forget his name.
King Ghidorah.
Yes. And so I constantly watched those over and over as a kid. So when these newer remakes kind of, especially showing King Ghidorah, it just brought back like nostalgia, man. Like those, I'm actually pretty like excited about this one because I feel like they've been doing them better than say the Godzilla 2000 one.
I used to watch that movie all the time as a kid. I didn't care at the time. As a kid, you don't care about anything. It's like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, I watched it and I was like, this isn't my Godzilla, but it, like for a like a monster movie is whatever.
Yeah.
But I think I would have felt better if it wasn't attached to the Godzilla name. But even then, right? Like, I was also younger and I was like, it's not my Godzilla, but it's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But dude, yeah. So the fact that these are coming out, I'm kind of excited for it, man. I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you saw the Mortal Kombat images.
I did.
Images.
I did.
I
don't know. I can't get that excited because they're just images. I'm like, this could be a Photoshop. Like I've seen hundreds of these kinds of images already of cosplayers and other people. It's like to me,
totally.
Yeah, until I see the I don't know, like a trailer at least or a teaser, I don't know, I'll get a little more excited just because you like see it in action, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But so far the way they look, the clothes and everything, I was like, this is fine. I don't hate this. Because with movies, you gotta straddle that line of like how faithful are we going to be to the source material versus what realistically what we're trying to do for today's modern audiences and blah blah blah. But I wasn't mad at it.
Yeah, even with trailers, even if it looks good, it still can be bad, or if it looks bad, it can still be good. So it's just kind of hard to tell until final product. Moving on to some gaming news.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you knew this, but Cyberpunk 2077 wasn't ready when it came out.
Not
exactly in the greatest state, I would say.
Nope, it was not.
The CD Projekt Red has apologized a couple times, but recently, within the past week, they had an official 8-minute video. The creator founder did a video. I don't know if you saw that whole video.
I did see that whole video.
He's just there apologizing, like, oh, it was our fault. We thought it was good. We were gonna make it. I don't know. What do you think of his apologies? Do you think it's sincere, or are you kind of like whatever about it, or what?
Yeah, it definitely came off sincere. I mean, I think it lets you know that the game developers are humans, right? And we err, and we like games is a moving target, because you have so many moving parts to it. It's so many large teams working on different projects that at the end of the day have to come together in this cohesive, let's say like a little ball or whatever, and just because it's not a perfect round ball, everyone's of course upset. But I think even it could have even been a financial issue that maybe even above their heads, maybe a decision was made that, hey, like this needs to get put out. We need to start generating some money and start making some money to, give us an influx of cash so that we can continue, because we're hemorrhaging right now or whatever. This game's been out forever. Like, I think they could have benefited from pushing it again. Honestly, because they delayed it like 3 times or something. But that actually, that's the whole reason I haven't even played it yet, because I'm like, you know what, I feel like it's not ready yet, so I'm not even worried about it. I think The Witcher, when it came out, had some similar issues with like bugs and stuff like that. I mean, it's an open world, it's not going to be the most put together thing at the end of the day or whatever. But his apology did come off to me as sincere. I've seen some videos with those guys. I mean, they're not in any way predatory. I think they're not trying to swindle you, which I think the lawsuits are just pissed off people that are either trying to make a buck or they just really are sincerely upset, in which case, like, we don't claim those people as our gamers, okay? So fuck those guys. Like, like the game's not ready yet, man. Like let them fix it, whatever. It'll like, I guess in today's age too, you should already know that most games they're gonna be patched. There's gonna be updates. They're gonna be live games, and I feel like that's what this is. If you're upset that the boxed retail copy of it is not up to whatever the promise that you felt like was promised, then don't buy it. Why complain about it or sue them for that matter,
Yeah.
So yeah, to me, felt a little exaggerated.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, yeah, again, a lot of games, like that big of a game, they're gonna have bugs here and there. I think it was just a little much, especially the older generation versions, like the PS4 and Xbox One. Those were just, I heard, was terrible, like unplayable, just terrible. And so, I didn't buy it either. I can't buy it anyways right now because I don't have my system. So it was kind of crazy. They should delay it again. I mean, I think the last delay was like September to December, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was only like a month or two. Like, I was like, is that enough time? Like, I don't even.
Yeah, it was kind of I guess they just need a couple of days to fix it or whatever. But no, they should have delayed it at least half a year, because I know even he said he's like they have a 1.1 fix and 1.2, I think in February, end of January or February.
Yeah.
And so like it's like they have those big fixes, and so it's like okay, but it's like you should have delayed it again, because now you're just a big meme. And I don't know who's gonna play it. Everyone's just frustrated. So, yeah, kind of I was okay with his apology. Again, I don't know if I believe some of the stuff though, where he's like, we were proud of the PC version. I was like, dude, but that was still getting lots of crashes.
Yeah, it still was from what I saw.
Yeah, from what I saw, from what I heard, and wasn't far to look. I didn't have to look far to find it.
Yeah.
So. But so there was that, and then another gaming big news for me, I'm excited for this, is the LucasArts. The Star Wars games are all in one umbrella now.
Yes.
LucasArts, which is, I like one thing being under something because it gets confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
And so EA will no longer be the sole, I guess, producer
developer
of Star Wars games. It'll be lots of other people get a chance. There's going to be an open world Star Wars game coming by Ubisoft.
Yes.
I don't know if I have complete faith in them. I haven't played a Ubisoft game in forever, and that's not because it's just kind of didn't want to. There's nothing to look at advertising. I haven't heard a Ubisoft game be awesome in a while. So, but open world Star Wars sounds fun. I just don't know if I have the highest hopes yet.
Yeah, I think they have a ton of I want to say history or experience, because they do like the Assassin's Creeds and stuff like that. So as far as like open world systems, like if you're gonna give it to like anyone, that would be one of like the 3 or 4 studios that are out there making huge open world games. So to some degree it could be in good hands. It's just how they treat the source material, I think, is what's going to be important. Ubisoft has the manpower, they have the financing to like put out a good game. It just needs good like direction, and they need to
definitely
at the end of the day have this kind of cohesive idea of what this world is, rather than like, oh, it's just open world Star Wars. Like, I'm sure they'll find something. I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla was very well received, both critically and commercially and stuff. So hopefully that'll be good for the future.
So what do you think? Are you excited for more Star Wars games, different developers doing Star Wars games?
What, I haven't played a Star Wars game in a while. I think maybe, what was the last one? Maybe Battlefront 2 was the last one I kind of maybe checked out.
Well, so back in October there was a Rogue Squadron one. It was like a quick one.
Yeah.
Then it was what was it called?
Jet? No, it did not have the word Jedi in it.
Jedi.
Oh God, what's the name of it?
Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. There you go.
Yes.
So that's the one. That's the one I want to play right now. I have it installed.
Really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to check it out.
Fun. Yeah, it's good. It's surprisingly hard in some areas. Like you start playing, like, dude, this is kind of hard, but that's awesome. I like the challenge.
Does it feel like a Souls game, like they say it is? It's kind of like you 1-to-1. You're worried about combat with like 1 or 2 dudes or whatever. You got to be careful with the way you're maneuvering or fighting and stuff.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. That is definitely the combat style, but it's definitely not as hard.
Yeah.
That's where my no comes in. Not as hard, but yes, it's the same kind of style.
Well, that seems like a good place to start then, because I am scared to hell about Souls games, because sometimes that element of having to restart all over from roguelikes and stuff like that it can be off-putting if you're not at least working towards building something at home. Like I played a little bit of Rogue Legacy 2 the other day on stream, and it was fun, but I guess it doesn't feel like I lose when I die, because it's like, okay, cool, well, the money I grabbed from this run, I can put it into some upgrades in the castle and whatever. I try to, if there's some kind of persistence like that, I like that, because my time doesn't feel wasted, I guess. Because those games, I feel like if I just have one of those moments where I lose really hard, I will not go back to it.
I'm afraid of those games. Sometimes
so the fact that it sounds like it's not that hard, I think super appealing to me. I do want to check it out, especially because it's got that like single player story element to it.
Yeah, and the story's pretty good too. I enjoy it. I enjoy the robot you have. I enjoy the different things and mechanics you get to use. It's fun. It's a good Star Wars game.
And it's canon, right? That was one of the things too.
Yeah, it's canon.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much everything from here on out is canon since Force Awakens.
Cool.
More pretty positive. Yeah. So, LucasArts, Indiana Jones game coming out too. By the way,
I think it's Lucas Games now.
Are you sure?
I think so, because
I think you're wrong.
You can look it up right now real quick while I talk about it. So LucasArts, they didn't want to I think they didn't want to bring back that brand because it was associated with other different games, different developers and stuff. So I think what because I think I remember seeing like, oh, Lucas Games. I was like, wasn't it LucasArts? But just the way it's Lucasfilms, I think they kind of wanted to keep with a similar branding. They called it Lucas Games so as not to invoke everything that happened with LucasArts before.
LucasFilm Games.
Okay, there you go. LucasFilm Games. So no LucasArts.
My bad.
Right. No,
I apologize.
It's all right, bro.
My bad. It was in my head, and I just.
No, I know you can't help but say. I mean, I think people are still gonna say LucasArts at some point, but yeah. I think they did it to kind of, have that divide of like, hey, this is something different, something new. We're not going to work with just one publisher anymore. We're going to work with different, companies or whatever. So I think that was a good move. Yeah,
which also we're getting a Indiana Jones game by Bethesda.
Yeah, we are. Being developed by Machine Head Games, the people who do Wolfenstein, all those new Wolfensteins that have come out. I don't know if you've played those or not.
I just know of the one with the girls. And I just saw that one being made fun of a lot. That's all I know. I played the first or second Wolfenstein a while back.
I never got around to playing that one, but you could say that they have some experience of killing Nazis. So I'm sure that's what the Indiana Jones thing's probably gonna maybe revolve around, if it's around that era. I mean, weren't they the bad guys usually?
Yeah, the first and third one, they were the bad guys.
Right.
So, and I guess the first and third one,
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I'm like 100% on. I don't know. I don't know why I have this thought, but I'm like, it's kind of weird if I'm like a first-person shooter Indiana Jones game. Kind of feels weird. I'm like, I feel like it has to be like a mix between Tomb Raider and. Uncharted?
Did they say it was going to be first person?
I don't know, but I just think of the first person when I think of them. So
I feel like it would be good as a third person, like you said, like an Uncharted, like a Tomb Raider, especially since there's no Uncharted's on the horizon right now that I know of. I think
not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I think this would be their time to kind of maybe come out with something. Also, no details about licensing Harrison Ford's likeness, nothing like that either, right? Just super, just a teaser.
Just say it's coming out. Okay, cool.
You know what? I would like to hear what someone's impression of like Harrison Ford, and just I want it to be 2 years later, and we see like a little trailer for like the voice actor just voice acting all of his lines and stuff. I just want to hear someone's Harrison Ford.
Just like a super grumpy Harrison Ford.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be great.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all the most recent big news that I can think of. What you got on the table for us?
Let's see. We already covered the Bethesda doing Indiana Jones. The other ones are kind of small, but this one was kind of interesting. I'll take it over real quick to Razer. You probably know Razer products, who do keyboards and mice and all that.
Headphones.
Yeah, and now they have face masks. Have you seen these? Have you seen these face masks?
I have not seen these face masks.
Dude, look it up. It's called Project Hazel. So they are unleashing two different color schemes, a white and a black, that basically have this kind of clear openings. You can see the mouth. They've got this RGB lights around what's going to be the filters of the mask that are also going to be speakers. So, you know, clearly going into a dystopian cyberpunk future, and this is like the first product that's going to take you there. And I'm kind of excited, and I kind of want one. I want to live my cyberpunk dreams, man. And this thing looks so good. I was like, this is just, I don't even have to make. They just sell these cyberpunk masks now. Like, holy shit.
That's pretty cool. I see it right now.
Yeah, they got the N92, N95. I forget what the filter number is, but they have legit filters in them. Like
N95.
N95. There you go. So I thought that was interesting from a company that makes video game peripherals. Kind of, you know, you can take that with you now, and you can let the whole world know you like video games, Caleb.
Yep.
So that's Project Hazel, bro. I don't know about wearing that in public. If maybe if I were to go to a con, maybe I'd wear it. But
a con, or if I'm just like going somewhere where I know I won't be judged, I'll go there.
Dude,
I don't know if I'll wear it to Costco.
Kaboom! We can go to Kaboom Arcade wearing it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's opening up real soon. It's got that whole low light.
It's all open. It's open already, man.
Yeah, so that's, if I'm wearing a Project Hazel mask, it's gonna be to that.
yeah, pretty much. Exactly. I don't think I'll wear it to the bank or to Costco. I feel I'd be judged. I'm gonna be honest. I'd feel it. But that's pretty cool and interesting. I don't know if you've seen those things. They were like I think they're a GoFundMe. They're like a little suit thing that you put over you.
Is it like a square, like the blocky one?
Yeah, it's like a blocky thing.
Yeah,
it's
it looks
like a
like when you put the comforters in. It's like you're wearing one of those comforter, like it's like half plastic. It's like see-through, but it's like this square thing. Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, and they have like gloves on the inside where you can like scratch your face if you wanted to.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
I kind of want one of those too.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that's a smart thing or it's a ridiculous thing. It's probably both. It's probably both. It's fantastic and terrible.
Yeah, I saw someone review it on YouTube, and they were just wearing it like with the kind of channel or whatever, and the guy was like, "Dude, I'm just like sweating in here." I can't imagine it's the best.
The other two pieces of news I got, real small, just quick little snippets. Rick would have been excited about this one, but there's finally been a release date for the new Pokemon Snap coming out April 30th. I'm pretty excited about that because I was a huge Pokemon Snap fan. I loved it so much. There was nothing like it. There hasn't been anything like it, and so we will be able to enjoy that again on April 30th.
Nice. I don't have a Nintendo, so cool.
Wait, you don't have a Switch?
No, I don't.
Caleb, you need to get yourself a Switch, bro.
I know.
Soon, hopefully.
I want a PS5.
Yeah, me too.
I
those? You can't just walk in anywhere and get those right now, right? They're still.
They're still just doing like, they're at Walmart now. They're gone.
Yeah, damn, that sucks.
Okay. I think it's literally going to be a year till we get one. I really do.
Yeah, so you can just like walk in there and readily get one. I think it's, everyone's staying at home, and probably even with these stimulus checks that are coming in, people are just making that investment. Like, hey, I got money, I'm gonna go grab it now. So I can imagine why it's a little harder to find. Everyone's at home. Everyone's looking for entertainment. And that's definitely something you do. On the last piece of news, also might have had benefited from Rick's commentary, but SquareSoft, or Square Enix, I'm sorry, makers of Final Fantasy, have
most
trademarked,
importantly, Kingdom Hearts
and Kingdom Hearts. They have trademarked 3 new things here. First off was the Shinra logo, so legit trademark on the Shinra logo now.
Okay.
They also trademarked 2 names. One was called Ever Crisis, and the other one was called The First Soldier.
Okay.
Are you familiar with like the Crisis Core stuff that they did back when they were trying to kind of expand that Final Fantasy universe?
No,
deal?
I'm not familiar.
So, say, was it PS3 era when they kind of went through this little phase of like, hey, we're gonna come out with like a Final Fantasy VII mobile game. They came out with Dirge of Cerberus. What else? An anime as well, like all revolving around the Final Fantasy VII universe. And so people are thinking this could either be maybe something like that, because Before Crisis was essentially the name of like that whole like period of, oh hey, we're gonna throw in all this lore at you or whatever. And so people are speculating this could also be either maybe remakes of that, like of Before Crisis and stuff like that, or could be something, or it could be what they name the rest of the Final Fantasy VII remakes, you know, like the part 2, the part 3, or whatever. Especially because First Soldier, obviously that's referring to Sephiroth, so you know, a lot of speculation around what these could be, but as of right now, that's all it is just speculation. But interesting because they could be working to expand the Final Fantasy VII stuff, you know, due to the success of the remake.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that's all I got for news. Caleb, slow news week.
Slow news week, and then we gotta get on to those reviews.
Yeah. Review time. Let's talk about that big one. Yeah, the one you're dying to talk about.
84?
Yeah. Wonder Woman 1984.
Let's go ahead. We didn't talk about this ahead of time, but I think we should just do a spoiler review. It's been out. It's going to be leaving in like 5 days. If you've seen it, you've seen it. If you haven't, we haven't. But
yes,
come on, you got access to HBO Max. Just watch it.
So spoiler warning for Wonder Woman 1984.
It's also kind of hard to talk about it without going into the stuff we want to talk about. I know for sure.
Yes.
So yeah. So spoiler warning.
All right, you've been warned.
You've been warned.
You know what they didn't warn you about, Caleb?
What's that?
Is what a trash fire this movie was going to be.
True. It's true.
What grabbed you about that movie, man? What do you think? Like, what do you think happened?
I don't know. I'm confused about a lot of decisions in the movie. Like a lot of decisions. I'm just so confused. I don't know. I mean, for one, I think Wonder Woman's kind of a jerk to everyone. Like, she's just like super moody and mopey everywhere. I'm like, dude, like he was your boyfriend for like a week 40 years ago, and you're still like moping around about it. Like, come on, that's kind of ridiculous. You're like 1,000 years old, and that one boyfriend you had for a week is like traumatized you. But the whole wishing thing, I don't like. It's kind of like time travel. If you don't do wishing or time travel right, you're not gonna mesh with it, you know. So the whole wishing stone, I don't like it. I don't understand why Steve Trevor came in someone else's body instead of just coming back when everything else can just pop up. Everything else can just change. Like walls can come out of nowhere, people can just die. You can wish someone dead, but you can't wish someone back to life just as they are. You have to put them in someone else's body. I'm like, well, that's the most confusing decision, to be honest. I'm like, why was that decision made? I don't get that, because that just bothered me and it was so weird. I'm like, she just sees him as that, but that's not really what he looks like. She's literally walking around with some dude everywhere. And everyone's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. It just, I didn't like Wonder Woman in this movie. I thought she was just super lame, and I didn't like the movie at all. I didn't like it. No.
I think the only thing I found cool about it was her armor. Like that stuff looked kind of cool. I don't know. I liked it. I like the wings. I mean, sure, it's all fucking gold or whatever, but I thought that stuff looked cool. Also,
it looks cool, yeah.
Also, the fact that it belonged to, a previous, what were they called, War Maidens or something like that. I forgot what those type of fighters were, or whatever. But it was basically Linda Carter's, and she does that little cameo at the end. Like that stuff was cool. I hated everything else. I think Pedro Pascal was just largely underused and stuff. You know, it was mostly just him being worried a lot. And
oh, you mean not Donald Trump?
Yeah, not Donald Trump. I didn't like that blonde hair on him either. I was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think what's her name's character?
Cheetah Girl.
Yeah. I liked her character, obviously, and then just the turn from her turning bad just seemed like it didn't feel legit, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah. She's like, I need him for more wishes. I'm like, yeah. Someone was that established.
Yeah. Just a lot of weird decisions, like you were saying, like some inconsistencies with the wishing, even in the beginning when it started, when that husband and wife are fighting. And she's like, I wish you were something. I forgot what it was. And then he's like, I wish you were dead. And like, she drops and dies. But then the thing she wished for on him wasn't happening. I forgot what it was.
It was like to go back to where he came from.
Yeah, go back where he came from. It's like, but so why is he still there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's stupid. But like when everyone was also getting their wishes granted, he's there on TV telling everyone, yes, all your wishes come true. And people are wishing for like the craziest shit. But like, you don't see anything happening. Like there was no weight to all the stuff that people were asking for or whatever. Like I thought that was also kind of weird that, there was such a inconsistent weight with everything that was happening. Like they only chose which ones they wanted to show. And
totally.
Like, it was stupid.
Like no one wished like, oh, I wish my mom's cancer was gone.
Yeah.
No one did nice wishes, and then like for Wonder Woman to be like, just take that back. And I'm like, someone has to like, oh, I wish my mom's cancer. I renounce my wish. And she has cancer again. It's like that was so unbelievable to me. Like that wouldn't happen. Like no, or someone wishing for $1 million. I'm like, I don't want to renounce it. Like the truly greedy people are not renouncing their wishes. Yeah. Stupid thing with the truth, like it's the truth that matters. I'm like, dude, shut up.
It's like so people aren't gonna listen to that and be like, oh, okay. Like I was like, no, man.
Yeah.
Have you been outside? Like it's just
people
that is not the way the world works.
Okay, like you think they're gonna renounce their wish? I mean, people think masks are dumb, so like,
it's dumb. And another thing, the way she can just fly in the air by like whipping herself into the air, and she just flies for like 30 miles with one whip. It feels like I don't know.
Yeah, she like glides sort of.
It's like
not
that's
really,
why she
kind of.
Yeah, like that's why she has an invisible plane, because she can't fly. It's like why are they making her fly in the air? Like, okay, I could get if she does the hanging onto a lightning bolt, whatever. I'll give you that because you're anchoring at some point. But the whole like I'm gonna like whip myself, I don't think that's the way whips work. You can't pull yourself from the force of like it's just. God, I hate that so much.
Oh, but Frank, the invisible jet was in the movie.
Yeah,
I think my father, he did this, so let me invisible.
It's just like, here's something I've never talked about till right now. I'm just gonna, I was like, oh, okay, I guess.
And I really feel like they didn't need to bring back Steve Trevor or whatever. I'm like, I don't need him. He doesn't need to be in the movie.
It's like he served no other purpose other than to tell her you need to let go. It's like I mean, you could have said that without bringing him back. Like you could have had another funny character. Like I don't know, man.
he also had to tell her that, oh, flying is just wind and air. Oh, I know how to fly now.
Yeah.
Of course.
You think they would have had like where she was maybe training or something, but just him like just explaining how wind and air works, and all of a sudden she can fly a plane now. Okay, guys, all right. Bit of a stretch.
And it's also like it's like kind of feminist, but it's also not at the same time. Because in the beginning of the movie, my wife and I were laughing because every single man in that movie was a dirtbag. They're like, "Hey, baby, what are you doing? Hey, sexy thing." Every single guy that she walked by and Cheetah walked by, every single guy said it. And my wife and I started laughing because it was like every single dude was like, "Hey, sexy thing." Like, I'm like, dude, come on. Are you kidding me? Every guy is a trash. And then, but it's also not a feminist movie because she needs Trevor. Like, she can't do it. You're basically telling me that she can't survive on her own. She needs a man to go in with life.
Yeah.
Go on with that, whatever. She needs a man to help her, but she can't do this on her own. So like it was just weird messages I was getting,
They also did that weird reverse kind of like they have him trying on clothes or whatever because they had her doing it last time, because that's like a trope in a lot of women's movies and stuff like that. And so I thought they're like, oh, let's flip the script, let's have Steve Trevor trying all this funny clothes or whatever. And I was like, we don't need that. But I mean,
it wasn't
whatever.
funny. I also felt like it was like, oh well, guys, we're in 1984, we need more 80s stuff. I'm like, that also didn't need to be in 84, it could have been today. I'm like, what? Like, they just want to cash in on the 80s. Hey, remember the 80s? Like, aerobics, the mall. It's like, I'm kind of sick of like forcing 80s nostalgia on us. Like, I'll watch the 80s stuff if I want to. I don't need nostalgia crap all the time. You can see producers doing it because they want to cash in on it.
Exactly. Like they have a theme, and I feel like that's a theme maybe some people can wrap their mind around, of like, hey, so it's an 80s theme, everyone knows, oh, okay, Michael Jackson jackets, Madonna, like just like they start going down that route, and rather than trying to be different or creative about even fashion and stuff during that time. Like, it's so easy to say, okay, it's just 80s now, and then you just put 80s things in it. It's like, but how many times have we seen that already by now? I think it was novel back when Stranger Things was starting to do it a little bit, because that I felt like they did it better,
they did it best.
It didn't feel gross. So they need to go back and fix that. Or just remove, or I'm gonna wish this movie out of my fucking head. I wish I didn't see it.
And it was so long too. It was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was way long.
I was like, dude, this movie's long. Like, does not need to be 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I mean, I was watching the first Spider-Man the other day, and that was 2 hours, and I felt like so much more happened in that movie than in Wonder Woman.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was Wonder Woman. I give it a thumbs down.
Thumbs down from LoFi. Don't rent this movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, that's okay. You don't need to. It doesn't connect to DC Universe. Also, it doesn't try to either. Oh, I saw this was funny online. Someone was like, Batman's parents would have been dead by now, and so if he had wished his parents back to life and had to revert his wish, like that was like, come on,
get it taken back.
Yeah.
Oh man, how old would Bruce have been around this point? Like,
I don't know. He would, because I mean, you gotta think Ben Affleck would have been his age. It would have been Ben Affleck's age, right?
Oh,
he's
true.
Old man
Yeah,
Bruce.
they used old man Bruce. That's right.
Yeah, so it would have been however old Ben Affleck was.
Just wish his parents back.
Yeah, I wish they were dead again, I guess.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny. I saw that. So that was Wonder Woman. We had another TV show that came out recently.
We do. It was. It's on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Off a different comic book.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's called WandaVision.
WandaVision.
The first 2 episodes came out this last Friday. I think we're gonna do one a week after that. We don't know how many episodes yet. I'm assuming it's gonna be like an 8-10 episode.
I'm hoping for 10.
Yeah, just like the Mandalorian, they're kind of inconsistent. It's like around the 30-minute mark. I think one of them was 29, another one was 36. So, which I don't mind. It's cool.
I didn't pay attention. Are they doing different directors for these?
I didn't pay attention either. I think it's the same one, but I didn't pay attention either.
Okay.
I was like too wondering what was going on.
Yeah. Overall impressions, man. What did you think of WandaVision?
Also, going to go into spoilers, by the way. It's a streaming service. There's 2 episodes, quickly done. Come on. And it's hard also to talk about this show without spoilers. It's like, how do I...
Yeah, sure.
There's doing something.
There's stuff to talk about.
Yeah, so I liked it a lot, actually. I know a lot of people were complaining, like, oh, it's taking forever to start, like, to get the show started, but I don't mind. I like it. I like the weirdness. It's actually kind of scary in a sense. It's kind of like eerie. Like, it's kind of like, dude, what's going on? Like, it's kind of eerie because you know there's something else going on. And kind of the laugh track and the happiness adds onto it, actually.
Yes.
So I really enjoy of course, I enjoy all the homages to everything, to Bewitched and I Love Lucy, and especially in the first episode, and when she's cooking everything, or when she's putting everything away, it looks like everything is on strings, like it would be back then. That's what I really appreciated. Yeah. And I really appreciate that they looked like they were doing effects like they were doing back then. I wasn't like, oh yeah, it's CG, it's updated, everything's updated. No, it looked like old stuff. Yeah. So I appreciate it. I actually did laugh. I actually did think it was funny. Like, I thought the jokes were kind of funny, and they were because of what they were doing. It was cool. Yeah. Second episode got more like moving around to different locations. I like the little opening, the little cartoon opening in that one.
That's right.
So that was fun.
A little intro or whatever.
So I'm curious, but yeah, it's exciting. It's cool.
I like it, man. I guess for some people who maybe never got around to watching like a lot of those, like the Dick Van Dyke Show and I Dream of Jeannie and stuff like that, may feel weird. But like you said, like they paid really, really good homage to like the way the magic stuff is happening in that. And to go back real quick to that first episode where you were talking about how it just kind of gets weird and eerie sometimes, I think is such a great juxtaposition to like the very kind of like Leave It to Beaver, like really kind of like fake, like, oh, we're a happy family or whatever, and then this guy's choking at the table, and the camera no longer is on like a set. It feels like you're in there, and the shots are different, and I think that helps convey that like kind of takes you out of it, and which is, I mean, I think they did fantastically. Like they made it feel eerie and weird, and like something's afoot, right? Something's happening. So first episode, that choking scene's what's kind of like the weird thing, right? The helicopter thing didn't happen till the second episode, right? I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. So the first episode ends. There's that weird, ominous, like, you see like what's essentially the ending credits of the WandaVision show cuts out. Then there's someone, an agent somewhere, like watching them or whatever, right? Which that was fantastic. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is like Truman Show almost even. And here's especially why I thought that. So Vision goes to work, right, while she's there at home, right, in that first episode, and they're talking on the phone or whatever, but he has a conversation with his coworker, and he's like, why are we here? What are we doing? And it felt interesting because the guy, I guess, explained like that he didn't, I forget if it was that he didn't understand, or he was like, no, this is what we do. And to Vision, that meant nothing. Like, it was kind of like, what are we doing here? And even the guy couldn't really tell him or something, And to me, that felt like a limit of like Wanda's maybe expertise in that area, because to talk about this part, I kind of have to talk about what happened in the comics. So if you're familiar, this is maybe kind of pulling from two different comics. This is one about Vision that came out in 2015, that kind of had Vision living in a 1950s suburban kind of life with his own like synthetic children.
Family.
But they're very much pulling from like House of M, which was basically Wanda creating realities because her powers allowed her to, but she was at the same time making them like real, or like they're reality, so they're happening. Professor Xavier at this time is trying to get into her head to make her stop. and that's I think the correlation between this is people are trying to kind of like reach her in this dream, in this reality that she's creating for herself, because a lot of people, they're asking, when does this take place? Why does Vision still have the Mind Stone? Why is he still alive when he's dead? Obviously it's because it's probably her bringing back into reality the idea of him, you know, having kids with him. That's and at the end of that first episode, she's got like a little baby bump or something, right? Like the idea of them having kids. That was her whole thing. In the comics, Wanda wanted to have kids with him, you know, and I think he was probably dead at that point too. I forget. So they are largely pulling from something like House of M and bringing that into here. So them trying to reach her through like other means and stuff like that, I think is so like, it's so cool because they are paying mind to the source material. Like I think you don't need to read the source material to appreciate it or whatever, but as someone who did, that feels good to me. I'm like, oh dude, like they're you know, they're doing it the way the comics kind of did it, you know, they're kind of like borrowing here and there. And I think that's what separates a lot of the Marvel movies from, say, like DC, because they are paying mind to where the source material is coming from. You know, everything from like the way Avengers Tower looked to like the way Thor's uniform looked off of like the Ultimates and stuff like that. As someone who was a reader, you can recall that and be like, oh, that's awesome. That's just, you know, that's like just like what I read or whatever, right? And I think that's why it's so successful, because it's actually using it to a great degree, and it's like informative and it's interesting, and I think especially in this case when you see it being presented like that, it all comes together in the end, man. And so those parts where it's intriguing and you're watching this stuff happen and unfold on screen, even if it is in 1950, maybe some people could be like, oh, nothing really happened. It's like, no, like stuff's happening, like if you're not paying attention, but it's fun. Like I couldn't help but have like this big dumb smile on my face. And like even when the audience like would laugh, I was laughing, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, I just couldn't help it. I mean, it was done so well, man. I really enjoyed these first 2 episodes so far.
Same. Like you were saying, it separates Marvel is that they take ideas and themes from the comics. They don't do the actual storyline or whatever. They may not follow it, you know, bit by bit, because like in Civil War, they can't do the actual Civil War storyline because they don't have, you know, 100 heroes. But you know, they take ideas and themes and put it in, and it makes everyone happy. It makes the audience happy who's never read anything, because like I can follow what's going on, and it makes the legit comic people happy because like, oh, not only do I follow what's going on, but I know stuff that they're referencing. You know? So that was fun. But I enjoy these first 2 episodes a lot. I'm excited for the third one. I'm hearing the third one because I think the people who review it, like that, they got the first 3 episodes. I hear the third one is what really starts to answer questions. So
I was thinking that, especially now that everything kind of coming into color, real Pleasantville style, like everything turning color. I think that was like kind of showing you, okay, now we're gonna go to like the like 70s, maybe even 80s era of like TV show stuff now. So I'm really excited to see what kind of TV show stuff they do and kind of continue that with or whatever, because I think that could go a lot of fun ways. I liked that at least Vision, for, you know, the most part in the movies, he was always like super serious, and that second episode he just got to be like funny and like you just enjoy his character more. You're like, dude, like I wish there was more of this, you know.
Vision was hilarious. He was really good, and everything. They were just both really good. And I really enjoyed it. I'm excited. Now, do you think it's all of Wanda, or do you think there's like someone else doing something? Do you think there might be a big baddie, possibly?
Oh, good question. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't think there's gonna be a big baddie per se. If I had to guess, the big bad could be just maybe Shield, or in this case, Sword. So I don't know if you saw on the manual there was that sword or whatever, which could be calling to, you know how there's Shield. I think in Marvel Comics I think it was 2016, 2015, could have been earlier. You know, they mentioned Sword, which was kind of like supposed to be an offshoot of Shield. But since Nick Fury went in hiding and stuff like that, I think it kind of splintered So I think still a government related thing, but not exactly associated with Shield. I believe Shield is. I haven't done any reading, but at least from what I saw, I believe Sword is like some satellite base. And if you saw at the end of what was it, when Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury's character, was like in space on that thing,
Captain Marvel.
Like that could have been him, like starting Sword possibly, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's how that's directly correlated to this, is like, there's Shield, there's Sword now, and maybe they're trying to wake her up, or they're trying to get through to her. Someone's trying to contact her, obviously from the outside. When the radio stuff was happening and it was trying to wake her up. As to whether she knows she's in this thing or not, I don't know. But I think that's why I enjoyed those parts where like even Vision didn't know what he did for a living, or the people didn't know what they did for a living, because that's maybe her kind of creating that reality for them,
Yeah.
And I like really, really enjoyed that, if that's kind of where they were going with it.
Yeah. So 2 thumbs up for Wandavision.
Definitely 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up for that one, man.
So,
Definitely go check out
Wandavision. Trying to review that each week, that episode each week, and trying to get that out to you guys as soon as possible.
Yeah, man, that'll be cool.
Yes, I'm excited.
Me too, Caleb.
And I think those are the two big series stuff.
Yeah, I think those are the 2 big ones to talk about for sure. Those were a lot of fun. I had a lot of like little small ones here and there. Like I said, I saw Chef. That's been awesome. I checked out the Social Dilemma recently. Also, I don't know if you saw that.
Okay.
Just to go over it real quick.
I saw the trailer.
Yeah, it's a documentary on Netflix. Just to go over it real quick. It's essentially just. It's talking about the big like Facebook and Google and the data mining, like basically how we are the product and they're selling our data, or not really selling, but to the highest bidder in a way. They're essentially vying for our attention, our time. How much time we spend looking at ads on social media and stuff like that is basically how they make their money. Because ads pay them, to have their products on there, and it's this whole thing. But it made me want to definitely start turning off some notifications. So, a friend of mine also, she had told me about it. She said she went like on a social media cleanse after that. Like she hadn't been on social media in like a month or something. And I thought that was interesting, because I know it's hard to pull away from like what's happening in the world and stuff, but the thing about this documentary is they do go into like politics and how the social media stuff affects politics. And the whole thing about it is that when someone thinks they have a fact, especially if it's fake news, and that's the hard thing, right, is containing fake news, because fake news spreads faster than real news and easily, right? Because it's like it's so like you want to believe all the bad stuff and you want to be able to talk about it, but once someone believes that they 100% know a fact, they will not want to listen to anyone else who's telling them otherwise. They're like, well, no, it's fact, like this is what I believe. And I think that's where people get tripped up, and that's why I think and kind of bringing it to the stuff that's been happening in today's world and everything. I think that's why we get people who are not willing to listen or talk about the issues, because they just wholeheartedly believe that they're 100% right, and it's funny because a lot of this stuff is just, it's like a blanket, right? All these like conspiracy theories, all this fake news, all this stupid shit kind of comes together as this like ball of like fake news. And if you don't believe in it, or if you do, there's going to be such a divide there. You're not going to be listening to each other, and that's why they talk about like this is what leads to countries going to war, or just people not listening to each other and stuff like that. So it was a very informative, also a little weird, because they kind of stuck like a little melodrama in there. Like, I don't know, I felt like something you would maybe show to like kids in high school a little bit, kind of like, hey, they're showing the story of this guy. He wanted to get with a girl and whatever, like there's BLM style like protests and he's there and whatever. So it's kind of like they're trying to kind of have this like surrogate like story happening while they're showing you this real documentary stuff of like people who started at Twitter, people who are the presidents of Pinterest, people, so they have like legit sources and people in there. I thought the little melodrama they were kind of interspersing in between was kind of weird, but whatever. It was interesting. Just kind of a little bit of a warning about us having to be better about how we're spending our time, on our phones and, just listening to other people and this and that. It was interesting. It was cool.
Cool. Well, yeah, I have been thinking about that too. Like, I really do think like memes and just I guess that's the best way to say it, because that's all you see on social media. It's either a comment, a meme, or a picture, right?
Yeah.
There's no in between, really. Or
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it would be, but still, it's like I feel like memes are very influential. Like, I'll just give a simple example, which is like I saw a lot of those memes where it's like 11:59 at midnight on Halloween, and then 12:01 November 1st. It's like Halloween and it's like straight Christmas, right? And you see that and it's like jokey, like, oh yeah, it's kind of funny, yeah, right? Because we do sometimes do it early. But this year I noticed it. A lot of people set up their Christmas on like the first week of November. Like, I feel like people were like influenced by it, like, oh yeah, that's so true. And then people actually did it. Like, I saw so many people who did Christmas on November 1st or the first week of November, and like their whole Christmas setup, the Christmas tree and everything. And I feel like they are influenced because they want to like be like the meme, or they're like, oh yeah, it's so me. Let me go ahead and do. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like people are so influenced. Like, if they see someone who posted this, that must mean that a lot of people believe that because someone posted it. A lot of people believe this way. So yes, I agree, and I'm gonna do it too. Yeah. So it's just a weird, interesting thing. It's like you see something that's pro-Trump or anti-Trump, you're like, oh well, if someone created this, that means a lot of people believe that thing. If there was someone who actually created this meme or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. So it was interesting. I really noticed that this year. I was like, wow, a lot of people set up early on for Christmas this year. I saw a lot of people doing it. I think and I believe it was because of that meme. And it's just it's interesting.
It's been a weird year, man, of just the stuff you see online. I think people are spending more time online, and a lot of let's say professions have even thrived now because of it and everything. It'd be everything from streamers to just people on OnlyFans, for example, or something. It's been like this influx of idiots, I think, also coming into you know what I mean, like the internet sphere. Like I think I read a post the other day talking about how people said Twitter's worse now just because people are on it more often and stuff. Like, I think it's brought a lot of positive and negatives, I'm sure. But you're not wrong.
Even this, look. Remember when Tom Hanks moved to Greece like earlier this year or whatever?
Yes.
And everyone's like, it's because he's a child molester.
He's a
and
pedophile.
In Greece they have a law that says you can be a pedophile or whatever. Dude, none of that is true. I was watching something, and they were basically saying, okay, I don't know if you ever seen the movie My Big Greek Wedding?
Yes.
It's an old movie. It was fun. It was a fun movie that came out of nowhere. Well, he was a producer on that movie. Yeah. And his wife, I think, either her family's from Greece or something, but they have connections to Greece, and they traveled there a lot, and they got their citizenship over there. And someone online, because they, whatever reason, said it, and then because someone saw it, they're like, oh, well, it must be true. Yes. So a lot of people were like, oh, Tom Hanks is a pedophile, and that's why he's moving to Greece. It's like, where is this evidence? Who, when, why, and where? And no one can prove it to you, but it's because there's a thread of it. They must be true. Yes. And I was like, that's so ridiculous. And like, I think someone mentioned the other day, I'm like, dude, you don't know that. Like, you don't know that. Someone just said it out of nowhere, and you think it's true because someone said it.
And that's the just like, again, with the fake news stuff. I think I don't know if it was like a TikTok or a video or something I saw, but they basically talked about how the whole conspiracy theory blanket that everyone is the whole idea of all these different conspiracies, and this Tom Hanks one included, whatever, it's always that this is Illuminati that's controlling everything, the media, and like they're trying to hide stuff, and the whole thing is they're trying to harvest children and pedophiles and whatever, because the idea is they have whatever means to everlasting life, like all this secret, like whenever it falls, it's all in that same that same bucket, right? And you know that when people are trying to like drum up any kind of awareness of this stuff. That's what it is. It's that like that fake news part of like they're just trying to I guess legitimize this like stupid theory, and people believed it. People were like, they're like, oh no, I hate, like I had it was a conversation I had with a friend, and she was like, oh no, I hate Tom Hanks. I was like, why would you hate Tom Hanks? She's like, he's a pedophile, this and that. I was like, what are you talking about? And she should, you know, she tells me or whatever, and I was like, no dude, like I looked it up and I found articles that were obviously countering it, and I'm like showing them to her. I'm like, no dude, look, he was not, look, this site was saying why he was there. Like they're trying, like, oh, like they were trying to go off of pictures because that supposedly he had some kind of anklet or some bracelet, you know. Oh, because he's on house arrest out there. There was all these little, you know, they're trying to find all these little images, but it's like, dude, like listen to reason first of all, right? Like there's facts, and then there's whatever you're hearing from other people. Like I understand maybe it could be hard to discern the two sometimes, sure, but like you take the person he's been for like the last I forget how, I don't know if he's 50 or 60 by now, but like how is it that nothing has ever happened with him up until now, and now there's like, oh he's a pedophile and he's a, you know, he's part of the Illuminati, and you know people, they're trying to hide him like, or whatever. I was like, dude, get out of here with that, man. Like people can be swayed so easy. I was surprised that this friend of mine believed in this. I was like, are you kidding me? Like that's nuts.
Yeah, and that's what's scary too, is that how easily people are influenced by something. I have to fact check everything. Every time someone tells me something, I'm like, let me look it up first.
Absolutely.
But if it's something crazy, I'm like, if I don't find at least 2 or 3 articles from a legit source on it, then it's not real. It's not real to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. Anything that I'm like, that's wow, that's kind of crazy. Let me look it up first. Do some research before I believe it or don't believe it, you know?
Yeah.
So
well, you can tell for sure, man, when there are outlandish claims like that. You're like, there's no way, you know. Like I think that same person tried to show me like it was related to like music and Lady Gaga having like raccoon eyes, like she had dark, and it's like, oh, this is related to, I forgot what they called it, panda something, like again involving children and like them being punched and kids having bruises on their eyes, and that's what Lady Gaga was also trying to like. It was so stupid, this whole of like just misinformation that people will fall into. I was in disbelief. I was like, how do people believe in this? This is crazy. But
especially without like some kind of research. Like I can't trust one source. I gotta have a couple sources that say it.
For sure.
So yeah.
Check your sources, people.
Check your sources. Yes. Please. If something doesn't sound right, look it up first.
Yeah.
That's all we're trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, speaking on that, hey, you know what else I hate? Just a little quick side note on social media, especially on Facebook. I have a friend who posts like dogs being like run over or beaten or whatever, she'll like repost it like, I hate this, and I'm like, so do I don't want to see it. Like I don't want to see this. Like I hate it too. Why do you have to? And she does it all the time.
Oh,
she's like, oh, this is the worst. I'm like, no, I know it is. I would
unsubscribe to their newsfeed, bro. No, I can't. I don't want to. I know it happens. I don't want it in my face all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally get that.
And I don't understand why they do that to themselves. They always seem like they're mad. I'm like, why do you do it to yourself? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
it's just gonna ruin your day, man.
But yeah, man.
Good times, man. Good times.
Good times.
You got anything else, Caleb? Or I think that's kind of it, right?
Yeah, that's kind of it. I haven't really seen much else, done much else. Just been busy with the kids.
Yeah, same. I haven't really had a chance to like play much either and stuff. I mean, there's been here's and there's. I got back into Hunt Showdown with some of my friends, and we've been playing that occasionally here and there. That's been kind of fun to get back into. I don't know if you're familiar with Hunt Showdown.
No.
It's so it's using the Cry engine, and it's essentially a 3-player game where you think of it like a battle royale. Even there's maybe like 3 or 4 teams of 3 or 2, and it's set in like like is it late 1800s? I think it's late 1800s. A lot of like repeater rifles where you kind of have to single load stuff. But it's got this horror element. So the idea is you go in to extract or kill a boss on the map. But to find that boss, because you're on this huge map, you have to go to different locations and find clues as to where the boss is at.
Nice.
So while you're doing this, simultaneously, other people are also doing this. So you can kind of run into them. There's also monsters, zombies, hound dogs, crazy bee ladies, and like sound in that game is super important. So like if you're shooting, if you have your headphones on, especially, you can hear, oh, it's nearby, right? Like the way you would in Call of Duty, for example. But like audio cues are important. And so the idea is kill this monster, extract the tokens from them. There's going to be 2. And then you run and you have to get the hell out of there alive.
Okay.
So if people know that you took the tokens, you're either getting shot at or they're waiting to ambush you. Or that game's kind of fun, man. It's pretty interesting.
That's fun.
Maybe be down for checking it out one of these days. But
sure.
I've been playing a lot of that lately. That's kind of been the only thing, and it's been fun getting back into ever since it launched. Because I guess the whole thing too is you hire different characters. So there's permadeath for characters. So you can have a character with certain traits, certain guns, and you can trade out their equipment. So you kind of choose a loadout to go into this map. If that character dies, your character dies, that's it. The equipment you purchase for them, that character's gone. The progress you've made on them. So you do have like different ones you can choose from and stuff like that. And that game's a lot of fun, but maybe we could play one of these days, man. It's pretty good.
That sounds really fun. Yeah, I'd be really down to do that. Speaking of, we're gonna do some more games soon.
That's right. We're gonna be streaming some more games, so be checking us out soon, guys. Now that we're kind of back at it, LoFi's coming right back at you.
Right back at you, whether you like it or not.
Anyway, so follow us on our social, guys. We'll be either streaming or tweeting, or we'll be doing something if you want to keep up with our updates. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
So thanks for joining in, everybody. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.